What if you gave yourself 1 year to completely change the way you build in Minecraft? That's exactly what I did, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy. 36 weeks, 36 biomes, and countless hours later, I came out the other side not just as a better builder, but as someone who learned how to push through creative blocks, embrace challenges, and connect with the Minecraft community. Today I'm going to show you the results of that journey and share everything I learned along the way, so you can level up your own building skills. Let's dive in. As you can see, I'm standing in the world where it all happened. This was my challenge, to create one build per week per biome. It started as a way to improve my building skills, but it became so much more than that. In this video we'll take a closer look at my builds, talk about what worked, what didn't, and explore the lessons I learned along the way. Plus, I've got some tips and tools to help you on your own building journey. One of the biggest challenges was finding inspiration. Some weeks were easy, I had a clear idea and jumped right in, but other weeks I had no idea where to start. As I like to say, the first block is always the hardest. So here are 4 key strategies that I found to get my creativity flowing. I used Google to search the idea that I vaguely have in mind, using keywords like concept art. Or when I had something more specific, I would add adjectives like abandoned or modern, or even a color like orange treehouse. These results gave me ideas to start from, especially when I was stuck. In certain times, I needed to focus more on shapes rather than details, so I searched for line art instead, which simplified the process. Websites like Color Hunt became an unexpected alternative. I'd pick good looking palettes from there and copy their hex code into another site named HueBlocks to match them with the Minecraft blocks as best as possible. This made it easy to experiment with gradients and blocks that I would normally not think about. Here let me show you how a simple palette transformed into one of my favorite builds, the Witch Hat, which made me combine cyan with yellow and grey, a mix that I never thought would work this well. I started sketching my ideas. Even if the drawings looked awful, it's not about being perfect. It's about getting the idea out of your head. And to prove the point, here are some of my horrible sketches that turned into great builds, like the basalt deltas or the birch forest. So don't be afraid of getting your ideas out into paper first. You might be surprised by the result. When everything else failed, I'd hop into the game and start placing blocks. While many of these warm-up ideas didn't make the final cut, they often inspire details or elements that I could use later on. So don't forget that after all, it's a game and you can experiment and play around with it. Next, let's talk about tools. Mods like World Edit and Axiom were absolute game changers for this challenge and for my building style in general. It's not about the great complicated things that you can do with them like surfaces or noise patterns. It's about how they make it possible to try out new ideas quickly. Copying, moving sections, testing colors, or building gradients. Experimentation and trial and error are the key to learning. For example, imagine deciding to repaint an entire wall. With mods, it's a click. Without them, it's hours of manual work. That saved time allowed me to focus on improving shapes, experimenting with new roof designs, adding details, and so on. If you like building, these tools are worth learning. And I know they seem overwhelming, but you can always start from the basics and build from there. When it comes down to the building themselves, I want to share some of the biggest lessons I learned. First, scaling down. In the beginning, my builds were too large. My early builds, like the fancy houses, were fun to make but lacked detail, because I was spending too much time just filling in the space. Halfway through, I made a conscious decision to scale down. That shift allowed me to focus on details, like in the botanist's house or in the crystallized cabin. Smaller builds are more difficult to shape properly but faster to polish. So when I managed to get the shapes that I wanted using smaller blocks, I got my builds to look better, especially with the time limit of the challenge. And toward the end of the challenge, because I was able to detail more, I became better at it and therefore faster. So I could scale back up some of the builds while keeping them detailed enough, like the Tower of the Lost Elves or the Creaking Mansion. Deciding when a build is finished is tricky. You might want to add interiors, perfect every gradient, or make it functional. But in this challenge I had deadlines, 1 week per build, often with just a day or 2 to actually build. To make progress I had to prioritize. My goal was to create builds that represented their biomes and looked visually striking. That meant letting go of perfection. sometimes skipping extreme details or super smooth gradients. But if you are building for fun or for your survival world, your goals might be different. The key lesson here is to know what you are aiming for. That way, you will know when you can stop and move on. Sometimes it's not as easy to know your goals from the beginning. In those cases, you can set yourself some limitations. You might be surprised by how limiting your creativity can actually allow you to be more creative. Even with all these strategies, there were times where I felt stuck. That's when I turned to the Minecraft community. This game has an incredible creative player base and there's so much you can learn from and together with others. Towards the end of the challenge, I hosted a community event called Build Together. The goal of the event was to step out of our comfort zones and build something we are not used to, like in my case where I built a large forest dragon. The participants built amazing and very varied creations, shared advice and gave feedback on each other's work. Big shout out to everyone who participated, you made the event super enjoyable for everyone. And I wanna thank especially the guest speakers, Deep Sky Miner and Takoda May, for sharing their incredible knowledge during this event. This experience reminded me how valuable it is to collaborate and learn from others. If you are feeling stuck, don't hesitate to reach out, join a server or share your work online. The Minecraft community is vast and one of the best places for learning and growing. This challenge wasn't just about Minecraft, it taught me about discipline, creativity and how to adapt when things don't go as planned. I learned to be okay with imperfection, to set realistic goals and to find joy in the process, not just in the results. Looking back, some builds stand out as favorites, like the Witch Hut, the Crystallized Cabin or the Abandoned Station, while others feel like stepping stones, like whatever this one is. But each build taught me something new, and that's what matters the most. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Whether you are here to improve your own building skills or you just love Minecraft, I hope you found something inspiring in today's video. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment sharing your favorite biome build or your own building challenges. Also, if you are interested in participating in upcoming editions of our community event, you are more than welcome to join the Discord to stay updated. As always, I hope you learned something new today. This has been Calven and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.